Good morning. I realize that oftentimes in the morning that this is the first use of my vocal cords. And a little bit ago I tried to sing along with a song on YouTube, and nothing but squeaks came out. So bear with me this morning. You know, this is Saturday. Jesus is in the tomb during the Passion Week. He went to the cross and he faced our penalty for us. And I was thinking about how that we all have some dark times in our lives. The Bible even teaches that this world is full of darkness, and we each one face our own set of circumstances and difficulties. But this was such a dark time for Christ. It was the time that he pled with the Father, please, if there's any other way. And we looked at Hebrews chapter 12, where it said he despised the shame. He hated having to go to the cross. But it's a pivotal point. It's a pivotal point in history. If it wasn't for the cross, and then subsequently the resurrection, our faith would be in vain and there would be no hope. But we have hope because of it. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1, Paul writes, "For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved it is the power of God." Wow. There's people that have no clue. I mean, they see the cross as a trinket that they put around their neck, or it's some kind of religious symbol, but it's far more than that. Apart from the cross, there's no salvation. We've been talking about the doctrine of salvation in light of who God is, in light of man's choice and man's sin. God had to come up with a plan because he loved us enough that he wanted us to be regenerated, relifed, reborn. He wanted us to become his children, to once again bear his image. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, Paul writes, "And I, brethren, when I came to you, did not come with excellency of speech or wisdom, declaring to you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you except Jesus Christ and him crucified. I was with you in weakness, in fear, and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching were not with persuasive words of human wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not be in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God." Yes, the cross is a pivotal point of history. It's the point in which we have hope. There's a number of characters in the story that draw my attention. I thought of the Roman soldier that when the earth shook and it became dark, he himself said, "Surely this must be the Son of God." I thought about the disciples who should have believed, should have been confident, but they weren't. Matter of fact, at this point in the story, as Jesus was in the grave, they were in hiding, perhaps afraid that they would be next. But the one person that caught my attention more than any other was the thief on the cross. There were two thieves. One of them said mockingly, "If you really are who you say you are, save us and save yourself." Again, that salvation was a temporal salvation he was claiming. He wanted to get down off the cross. He wanted to go back to life as he knew it. He had no clue of eternity. The other said, "Why do you speak to this man this way? We deserve what we're getting, but he's done nothing wrong." And then he said to Jesus, "Remember me when you enter into your kingdom." Now, we've talked a lot about salvation. We've talked about being regenerated, being given new life, being restored to that relationship with Christ. We've talked about being declared just as if we've never sinned. We've talked about being bought back by the blood of Christ. We've talked about propitiation, the substitution, the atonement that Christ made on the cross for us. We've talked about a lot of different things. But I want to tell you this morning, you don't have to have a full-blown theology about salvation. You don't have to be able to explain the ins and outs. Oh, it enriches your understanding. It enriches your appreciation and maybe your ability to communicate it to others. But the thief on the cross, all he knew is that this Jesus was being killed for what he did not do. He knew he was a sinner. He knew that he deserved to die. He recognized Jesus as a king. He simply says, remember me when you enter into your kingdom. And Jesus said, today you will be with me in paradise. It just takes a simple faith to see yourself as a sinner, to see Christ as a king, a worthy king, who died for what he did not do, who died for you and for me. And when we put our simple faith in Jesus and his finished work on the cross, that's enough. Today, the day that you take your last breath, will be the first day of spending eternity with the Savior in a place called heaven. Well, I just want to encourage you today, because in the darkest hour, the brightest light is on the way. The cross makes a difference in our lives. Thank you.